everyone, I'm Courtney, and today I thought that I would tell you about my recent trips, the trips that I took in February. I made a video about the different trips that I was going on, so if you haven't watched that video, you can watch it, but I'll explain again in this video. Today is a very gray and gloomy day. I'm feeling very unmotivated. I'm driving right now, and the sky is super cloudy, and I just don't have a lot of motivation. I thought that I would tell you about my trips in order to make me feel happier. I had a lot of fun on the two trips that I took. So, the first trip was to Las Vegas, and it was a personal trip. I met up with my best friend. Before I get too far into the story, I want to explain something about my best friend. My best friend is non binary. This means that they don't identify with a binary gender. So they don't identify as male or female, they identify as non binary. I will refer to my best friend as them, but it doesn't mean that there are multiple people. Non binary people use the pronoun them. So when I say something like, I was excited to see them, it means I was excited to see my best friend. One person. Okay. So, we met up with my best friend, and they took us from the airport to our other friend's house. Our other friend was staying at her grandpa's house. Her grandpa owns a lot of businesses in the town where we all met. We all met when we were living in Ohio. Lexi's grandpa lets her stay at his house in Las Vegas. The house is huge. It's a mansion. It's very weirdly decorated. The decorations don't go together. There's a bottle of olive oil in the shape of an Eiffel Tower. There's a Welcome to Las Vegas neon sign. There's a giant apple and pear for seemingly no reason. The house has an upstairs and a downstairs. My friend Lexi works upstairs during the day, and then we all stayed on the bottom floor during the day, and we could both be doing things and not interrupting each other. My friend KP, my best friend, is a climber, and Lexi's a climber too. So the main priority of the trip was to go climbing. There are two different types of rock in Las Vegas. There's sandstone and there's limestone. You can't climb on sandstone after it's rained because you could damage the rock. Unfortunately, it had just rained for 3 days. That meant that we had to find limestone to climb on. But that was okay because I had found a very tall limestone climb. The name of the climb was Land Before Time. If we managed to complete this climb, it would be the tallest thing that my husband and I had ever climbed in our entire lives. We hiked to the base of the climb. The hike was supposed to be about an hour. but we got lost. You were supposed to follow piles of rocks that we call cairns. We couldn't find the piles of rocks, so we just navigated through the desert in a haphazard manner. We went up and down hills, we stepped around plants, we avoided cacti. It took us 2 hours to hike to the base of the mountain. It was only supposed to take one. When we got to the base of the mountain, we all ate some snacks. Then it was time to climb up the mountain. The climb was 6 pitches. A pitch is 1 rope length. A pitch is a climb that is as tall as 1 rope length. We decided that I was going to go last, KP was going to go in the middle, and Jed would go first. Jed started up the climb, then KP, then me. We had 2 different ropes connecting us all together. The climb was fun. It wasn't that hard, but it was very long. We wanted to try and finish before the sun went down. We managed to get to the top right at sunset. I think it was around 6 p.m. We started the climb at 1 p.m. and we finished around 6 p.m. The instructions we had said that the descent would take about an hour. We didn't rappel down the climb. There are 2 different ways you can get back down a climb. You can rappel, or you can walk off around a different side of the mountain. We chose to walk off because it was safer. Hypothetically, it was less time consuming, but we got lost again. We had to use our headlamps to find the trail. We kept looking for different stacks of rocks to find our way in the dark. There was 1 rappel, and we all used a rope to rappel down to the next part of the descent. When we got back to the van, we realized it had taken us 2.5 hours to descend the mountain. That means that we hiked almost as much as we climbed. I was really happy that we'd completed the climb for the day. It was a good adventure. I was also really tired. If you want to see more about the climbing that we did when I was in Las Vegas, I'll leave a link in the description to my rock climbing YouTube channel. Keep in mind, this channel isn't designed for English learners. There might be a lot that you won't understand, but you'll get to see the climbing that I did in Las Vegas. We climbed for 4 days. The last couple of days, the rock dried up and we could climb on the sandstone. I love sandstone climbing. The other things we did in Vegas were take advantage of the food and the shows. We ate pizza and we ate ramen. I thought that my ramen was so good. It was a type of curry ramen. Delicious. We also ate ice cream. My friend made us affogatos. It's an Italian dish where you put vanilla ice cream in a cup and then you pour espresso over the top of it. It was so good. My little sister also ran a race while we were in Las Vegas. I met up with my little sister and her husband, my brother in law, to go to a show called the Blue Man Group. The Blue Man Group is a group of 3 guys that cover themselves in blue paint and perform comedy, entertainment, and music. It was really entertaining. I liked it a lot. One of my favorite parts of the Blue Man Group was when they beat the drums, and they had a special system that every time they beat the drum, a ring of smoke would float into the air. Eventually, you looked up and there were hundreds of rings of smoke floating in the air. It was cool. The other thing we did that I was a little bit uncomfortable with at first was go to a burlesque show. A burlesque show is a show with dancing, but it's like sexy dancing. It's not quite stripping, but it's close. Most of the girls in the burlesque show had a decent amount of clothes on, but there were a few acts that I definitely saw some boobs. It was fun. The theme of the show was Star Wars. I don't really know a lot about Star Wars, so I think that I couldn't appreciate the theme. But my friends and my husband all like Star Wars, so they really appreciated the set design, the characters, and the overall theme of the show. I had fun, but it's not something that I would do on my own accord. I had a lot of fun in Vegas, but then it was time to fly to my work trip in Florida. I flew from Las Vegas to Florida and I landed in Orlando, Florida around 3 p.m. I was tired. I pretty much just laid in bed and eventually I went and got some food, which there's a video about if you haven't seen that already. The next day I woke up and I helped my coworker merchandise the apparel for our expo booth. We hung up the leggings, we hung up the jackets, we hung up sports bras. We made all the clothes look good so that people could shop for clothes at the expo. The next 2 days, I worked the expo. I sold shoes to people. I pointed people in the direction of some specific limited edition shoes. And I also chatted with people and answered their questions about product. It was fun. I got to hang out with my coworkers, which is something that I don't get to do very often. My coworkers and I all live in different parts of the country. There are about 25 or 30 of us, and we all have a different territory. I cover West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania, and upstate New York. And all of my coworkers have a different region. For example, I worked with one of my coworkers that covers Ohio and Michigan. My other two coworkers cover different parts of Florida and Georgia. And my other coworker is mostly Georgia and I think some parts of Louisiana. We all have different territories, so it's nice when we can work events together. I'm a very social person. I like interaction. Overall, I had a lot of fun in Florida, and the one thing that I really liked about being in Florida was that the weather was so nice. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm feeling very unmotivated today. Pennsylvania weather is not nearly as nice as Florida weather. Soon it will be nice. It'll be nice here in about a month or two, and I'll feel great again. But for now, it's just so gloomy. I don't mean to complain, but it's pretty gray. So, while I finish the rest of my drive, I'm going to continue to reminisce about the 2 trips that I took to Las Vegas and Florida. I can't wait to take a trip and go somewhere with nicer weather soon. I'm Courtney. Thanks for listening. And if you liked this style of video, I'm going to leave another video here for you to watch to help you improve your English. See you later.